So I woke up one day and I suddenly thought to myself, why don't you make yourself your own custom built arcade driving cab? I mean, how hard can it be? Konnichiwa everybody, welcome back. Yes, I had a light bulb moment and I thought to myself, I'm going to build myself my own arcade driving cab. Purely from scratch, out of my head. It may have been foolhardy and crazy, but I thought I fancy having a go at this. And as you know, I've put out a couple of videos regarding, part of the process, because I'm trying to turn my garage into kind of a miniature arcade kind of thing. And so I started off, I had an idea in my mind that I wanted to build it in sort of homage, if you like, to the original Atari pole position sit down cab. That sort of cockpit style cab I was looking for to build, because I thought it was achievable, and B, because I had to compromise on my build because of the space I'd got available. So, the size of it was a major sort of part of what I could do. So that kind of helped me decide on that sort of square style rectangular cab, if you like, because it was more simplistic to build than, I was never going to build like a hydraulic, fully deluxe cabinet, that beyond my pay grade. But I thought like this pole position style cab was achievable. I'll hopefully will have put a picture up if you're not aware of what it looks like. So I decided I was going to build it based on an Xbox One console, because I'd got one sort of lying around that I never used, because since buying the Xbox One and the PS4, I've just, the PS4 I found much better for what I wanted, and consequently I only had the Forza games on the Xbox One. So I thought it'll save some money, I can just use that console in this cab. So I just then had to buy a sort of a steering wheel and sort of driving rig setup, and I bought that off the shelf because I didn't want to get into building my own seat and holder for the pedals and the steering wheel. I just thought I'd buy it off the shelf, make the job easier, and then that helped me determine the size of the cab, because I bought that first, worked out the minimum size I could go with because it needed to be as small as possible, and that really helped me due to my limitations of space. Then if you've watched the other videos in the series, you'll be aware of sort of various steps in the process, but I basically built up the driving rig and steering wheels pedals unit, and then I based the base of my cab around the size of the rig, and then I could build up from there, from that basic size that I'd got. So I went with ultimate strength on the base because of all the weight that was going to be involved, because I was using 18mm MDF. It's heavy stuff, so I wanted ultimate strength. Initially I was going to sort of try and build it, well, I was going to build it sort of as a static machine, but then it soon became quite apparent with the weight of all the timber that it needed to be movable, else I was never going to shift it, so I had to put it on casters. And I bought the most industrial heavy duty casters I could find. They were massive. They were like, I don't know, 25mm or something. Might have been 30 centimetre casters. They were big anyway. but I didn't want to see all that, so I sort of hid that behind the base, if you like, and then built the base up, as I say, reinforced, strength everywhere, and being as it's on casters now, I can move it around should I need to. Then obviously I could start building the framework up around the base, which I did. Slow process. I mean, I've spent all spare time I've had over the past probably month doing this. And then once I'd got the frame up, I could then start doing the panelling. And I think I did the back and the front first, and then the roof, and then I had to obviously within the cab I had to build shelving to take the screen and the console as well. So that was all done before I put the panels on, because it was obviously going to be much easier. And then once all that was complete, I then thought I better check all this works. So I wired all the screening and the Xbox, and connected it all to the steering wheel, and everything worked. I was happy. Then I could build the panelling on the side, because I didn't want problems that I'd have access issues with after having put the sides on. So once all that was tickety-boo and it worked, I could then put the sides on, which I did. And I think I'll stick a video in here now. I think I've got a sort of clip of about this stage in the process, to sort of follow on from the previous couple of episodes I've put out about the arcade cab build. If you want to watch them, I'll put links in the description if you haven't watched them, if you want to, or if you forgot, or whatever. If you don't want to, fine. But yeah, I'll stick a video in here of about this time in the process where I got the sides on, and it was partially painted, and you can have a look at that bit. So things have moved on quite a bit. We're not far away now, as you can see. Screen and Xbox are installed. We've got the roof on, everything's painted black inside, aside from the sides, which is what I'm in the process of doing at the moment. I'm just installing and updating some games while I'm working. Wheel and pedals tested, all working properly. Managed to get myself the gear stick as well off Amazon Prime Day. It was half price, so I just need an extension bar now for my driving rig to enable me to connect the gear stick, and then I can choose then either paddle shift or gear stick shift on the games that support it. But yeah, coming on nicely, as you can see. The back of the roof is on, and I'm in the process of doing the sides, like I say. So, as you can see, we've got the sides in two halves. So I've got the frontal half on this side, and then this side we've got both halves on, not fixed on yet. Just got a small gap to step through. I mean, it's a small cab, but it was the maximum I could fit in the space I've got, so there have to be compromises, and it's snug, but it works and I can get in it. And obviously all this has got to be painted, but once I get the rear section on the other side, all the panel work's done then, and it's just a case of painting and applying artwork, which has now come, thankfully. So within the next few days, hopefully it should be finished. But it's work in progress still, but we're not far away now, to be honest. So we're getting really close now. It's almost at the finishing stage.
we're wired up, both sides, and panels are on. I can't get far enough back, but basically both panels and both sides are on, completely painted inside. And we're just waiting for the artwork to go on now, which has arrived, thankfully. So once the artwork's on, we're done. Really chuffed with it so far. Just got the finishing touches to do. Looking really good.
So as you can see from the couple of clips there, once I'd got it tested and it was working, I started putting the side panels on, and as I say, I was going for that sort of pole position style cab look. Again, at this point I was quite compromised on space, because it obviously had to, the openings kind of got to be big enough for me, or you know, an adult to get in and out of. So that kind of limited the shapes I could go with, because I was also trying to cover up the side of the sort of seating part of the rig, because I didn't particularly want all that exposed if I could avoid it. So I tried to sort of have the opening as small as I could, while being, you know, not uncomfortable to get in and out of, because you know, I ain't getting any younger. So it's got to be sort of future proofed, all being well. So we got there, and you know, with a bit of trial and error, I was quite happy with what I came up with. Obviously both sides had got to be the same. Theoretically I could have left the one side completely filled in, and I did think about it, because I'm sort of situating it against a wall, and I was sorely tempted to have one side filled in, because it would also make it feel more enclosed. But ultimately I just wanted to have the versatility and the kind of uniformity, if you like, because I thought, you know, you never know in the future, you might want to move it, put it in a different position. Who knows, you might want to sell it, you know, 10 years down the road, and I think it'd look nicer if it was sort of uniform and the same both sides. So that I went with symmetrical down both sides in the end. And then once I sort of I'd got all the panels cut, I then sort of removed them all again, so as I could paint the insides of them, rather than trying to paint them within the framework from inside the cab. So I removed them all, painted them, and then fixed them on properly. At that point then, it was all complete on the outside, as you've seen from the clips, aside from the artwork, which, as I'd said in previous videos, I was having a bit of a nightmare with. I just couldn't. The service I was getting was so slow. It took about, I think it was around 2 weeks to get it in the end. When, you know, realistically speaking, it should have been here within a week, in my opinion. But that's by the by. It turned up in the end anyway. There were unfortunately a couple of creases within the artwork that I thought might come out once it was applied, but that's still show, unfortunately. And again, I had read feedback on this seller regarding this issue, and I thought it only seemed an isolated case, so I thought I'd take the chance, because I had inquired about collecting it rather than waiting for delivery, and I really wished I had done now, because it would have stopped all this waiting around, and also I probably wouldn't have had these creases within it. They're not awful, but I know they're there. But you know, in the video they probably won't show. But it's just slightly annoying. But it is what it is. I'm still happy with how it looks. So I think this was last weekend now. I had to finish the cab off with the artwork once it had arrived. Kind of daunting, because it was, you know, it was all done aside from this, and I thought this is the point where you could sort of really fuck it up and it's going to look a right mess. wasn't too bad in the end. I'm quite pleased with how it turned out. I think I quite like the look of it. You may think differently, but it's worked out as being, I think, as good as I could have hoped for. Really, I think I haven't sort of tested any of the games on it yet. I'm still installing stuff. I'm waiting for an external hard drive to come because I filled the hard drive up. Then I've got to start sort of testing everything, and because I don't think the wheel actually works on all driving games, which is a bit of a shame, but I don't know if the settings don't change. I've also managed to get within the cab, as well as the Xbox, I've also put my V2 Elite console, which I didn't think I'd have room for, but I've got both in there. And obviously that then opens up all sort of old arcade games and you know, Sega Model 2, 3 stuff, so you know, loads of Sega stuff I can potentially use, because I thought the Xbox wheel would work directly into the V2 because it's like a PC based console, and the Xbox wheel, the wheel I bought to work with the Xbox is the Logitech, and it supposedly works in a PC, but on first connection I can't get it to work with my V2, so whether I can by playing with settings, I don't know, but at the minute that can only be used with a pad in there, which not ideal, but we'll see about that. That's work in progress. However, so if I could get that working, I've got a whole array of stuff potentially, all old arcade stuff up to the modern stuff on the Xbox. So that's about where we are really. The cab's finished. I've got to start sort of testing everything and getting everything working properly, all being well now, and installing stuff. So I think I'll stick another bit of footage in here now of the finished cab, with the theme I went for. A few of you may not be surprised with what I went with. Like I say, I was going for the pole position style cab, but not the look of the pole position cab in terms of like the artwork. I went with my own theme, and so I'll stick the footage in there anyway. You can see what it looks like finished, and you can let me know what you think, all being well. Good or bad, I don't mind criticism. I like it, that's all that matters to me. So I'll see you in a minute.
And yes, give yourself a pat on the back if you guessed correctly. Of course it had to be Outrun. It was always going to be the theme I went with. Outrun style graphics on the pole position style cockpit cab, and I'm really quite pleased with the results, to be honest. I think it's come out quite well. I'm struggling to get far enough back from it to get the whole thing on the camera, so I'm going to have to switch to portrait mode, I think. So it's not going to look so good, but you'll have a better view of the cab. So apologies for the you know, the smaller screen, but it just works better the other way. Like I say, I was severely compromised on the space I'd got available, so it was built to suit the space. But it's worked out quite well, I think. It doesn't feel too small when you get in there. You can see the old Logitech wheel. Put some carpet in the bottom of the cab, and we've got the play seat rig. And as you can see, it's symmetrical, so the cab's the same on the other side. And then, of course, the Outrun theme continues inside. We've got the original control panel mounted behind the steering wheel, which I think looks quite good actually. It looks better than I was anticipating it might. And the thing I love is the fact this cockpit style cab, it gives you a real sense of like sort of darkness to focus on the game, and it sort of cuts you off from the outside world, if you like. it really feels a nice place to be. That's the kind of, I don't know if it'll show up because I can't see what's on the camera now, but that's kind of the camera's in the position of your head when you're sitting in the cockpit now. So I don't know if that looked alright because I can't see it, like I said. As you can see, we've got the Logitech steering wheel and pedal set, and then obviously we've got the screen on the top with the control panel just below the screen, and then we've got the shelf which we've got the Xbox One, and as I said, as I found out at a later date, I was also able to fit in my V2 console as well. So I've got the option of 2 consoles in here, so I can run all the modern stuff on the Xbox, and then if I can get the wheel working with the V2, I can play all the old arcade classics on the V2, including of course the mighty Outrun. But there we go, I've finally finished my cab and I'm really quite pleased with how it's turned out. Perhaps not perfect, but for what I need and the space I've got available, it works really well. So real sense of achievement, and I'm quite pleased with it.
So there we go. Of course, it had to be Outrun. It was the only theme that I could ever have gone with. Once I decided I was going to go on a single sort of arcade cab theme, it had got to be Outrun. I did toy with the idea to start with. I was going to go with like a sticker bomb type effect, and you know, just plaster the sides in like anything like arcade related, like in a sticker bomb style. But eventually I thought, no, I'm going to go with my heart, and it's got to be Outrun. So it was like a full Outrun stand-up decal set that I bought, as if you were sort of refurbishing or building a brand new Outrun cab. So it came with like side art, obviously full size, the exact style of the Sega cab itself. So you got the 2 sides, you got the marquee, and you also got the control panel sticker, which I've sort of, obviously, as you can see in the footage, I have put in the cab, and it does look quite nice actually. I wasn't sure about it to start with, but I really do quite like it now. It's nice having that sort of Outrun theme inside the cab, and I just love the iconic artwork on the sides. As you can see, it's obviously shaped in the style of the upright cab. Ideally I would have liked my cab to be shaped more like the shape of the artwork, but unfortunately I was compromised in the space inside that I needed to house the TV and the Xbox within the space that I'd got in the garage. So that was a compromise I had to make really. It had to be more of a square shape rather than an arch shape at the front. So, you know, there's always got to be a compromise in there, but I was quite happy with it. I've obviously added a few other Sega stickers myself just to sort of brighten up the cab in a couple of other areas. Obviously there's no space for a marquee on my cab like there would be on the upright, but I'm going to use that marquee, and hopefully my next project now is making a light box for the Outrun marquee, and then I'm going to sort of hopefully have that on top of the cab, sort of side on, and I'll still be able to have that arcade marquee lit up above the cab. Hopefully, really looking forward to getting that sort of lit up and illuminated. It should look mint on top of the cab, I'm hoping. But there we go anyway. I'm pleased I've done it. Real sense of achievement. Really pleased with how it looks. I just hope it plays as well now, and hopefully I can get most things working on it. But let me know what you think anyway. The garage is an ongoing project. I've still got loads to do, but I'm pleased I've got this sort of finished now, so I can sort of put this in position in the back corner and I can start doing stuff around it now that's finished and out the way. I've got the space and I can sort the rest of the room out over the next few weeks and months. We'll see how we go. It's kind of all work in progress. I haven't finalised what I want to do, but we'll see where we end up. But I'm chuffed with that first part of it anyway. But thanks for watching anyway. If you've watched this far, I haven't bored you to death. Be great to hear your feedback in the comments if you want to drop a comment, and hopefully see you soon. Sayonara.